Hey everybody, the countdown has begun. The great big reunion, La Grande Réunion for ex-Geos family and friends at Clubmate Turks and Caicos is happening on May 28th to June 4th, 2022. Come and join us along with all of your fellow ex-Geo friends and family for this big event. Have you joined the Forever Geo pour Toujours group yet on Facebook? All of the information will be posted there, as well as on the official Clubmate X-Geo Facebook group. We hope to see you all there, where we can all party safely together. Hands up, baby. Now today, my guests and I have never worked together before, and what I find interesting is we have 80 mutual friends on Facebook, despite having never worked together before. So 80 friends, that's pretty impressive. I like how Clubmed is just one big growing family and we're all interconnected. Her first season was in Sandpiper in April or May 2003, 2004. We'll try and figure out what year exactly. Things are hazy back then. Okay. She was a mini club Geo, originally from Chicago, now living in Atlanta. She is also part of a family business, okay, a women-owned company called Oaken Park arm bags, hands-free bags. Okay, this is an ex-Geo owned and operated business. And you can find these at www.oakenpark.com. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, the Club Med in beautiful Charleroi, Quebec has just opened, and you can also find these beautiful mesh arm bags, clear arm bag, ex-Geo arm bags in the Club Med boutique at Club Med Charleroi. So please, when you're going by there, please pick one up. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome my guest today, my very special guest. Please give a warm welcome to Susan Dunford-Dell, aka Suzie. How are you, Suzie?
Good. Thank you so much. And that was so nice. What an introduction. My goodness, that was amazing.
Well, it's not often I can, introduce a Geo and plug their company at the same time. That's the first, I think.
I love it. Thank you so much. I feel so honored. I'm blushing.
Well, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
Now, I think we met, despite having 80 mutual friends, we only met at the ex-Geo reunion in 2008 in Cancun, I believe.
Correct. I think so.
Despite having that many friends, and I believe I had met your husband, Boone. Okay, we'll get into that also, how you guys met. But and then, of course, he introduced me to you. All right. Yes. So I think you know how this show works. I'd like you to take me back in time to, basically what you're doing. Where were you living? How did you find out about Club Med? If you can start us off there.
For sure. Happy to. So I grew up in a suburb of Chicago, and as most people know, Chicago can be pretty chilly in the winter, to put it lightly. The long gray winters there can get pretty exhausting. And so my mom was a travel agent when I was growing up, and she'd always find us all the great deals to get away from the winters. So basically, every time we had any kind of vacation, we were begging her for a trip to get out of the cold, dreary, gray weather. And so we started going to Florida and we started going to the Caribbean, and she would find us these deals, sometimes fan trips or just the last minute deals. And so we were lucky enough to be able to go and explore some Club Meds. And so I think I was about 5 or 6 when we first went to Guadeloupe. And then we were lucky enough to then go to Ixtapa as well. So that was kind of our introduction into the Club Med world. Was my mom was a travel agent and got us deals.
All right. So your first Club Med was you were in the mini club, I guess, if you were 5 or 6, correct?
Yes, I was a mini club baby and was nervous. And in Guadeloupe, everyone spoke French. And so we were, totally confused coming from a nice all-American suburb of Chicago. It was the best culture shock we could have had. I have 3 older sisters, and my mom and my aunt, we all went, and it was such a fun culture shock. You get off the plane, it's so hot coming from Chicago, miserable winter, and everyone's basically half naked or naked running around, and we ran through the patios going into the entrance, and everyone's singing and clapping and dancing, and it was just so exotic and fun and like a whirlwind of lifestyle to us.
Now, were you one of those, be honest, were you one of those terror 5 or 6-year-olds I used to see in the mini club, or were you a nice, calm, and well-behaved?
No, you're right. I was nervous. Good question. I was that's a good question. I remember, bits and pieces, things when you're so little, but I remember crying because I wanted to be a part of the finale show. I think it was like the circus show. And then I got nervous and scared right at the last minute. So I don't think I participated, which is ironic because I was begging to be part of the circus when I was then a Geo. So yeah, just life.
Well, now, because you started off in the mini club, is that the reason? Like, did you want to be mini club at Sandpiper, or that's just what they gave you?
No, well, joining the mini club in Guadalupe was just for fun and to experience it. I also followed my sisters around as well. So don't get me wrong. I was running around the village, not with the group as well. And then Exapa, same scenario. But as I got older, I started to work with kids. I worked at a Marriott in Fort Lauderdale. I went to college in Florida, hence again the weather. And I worked for a large Marriott in Fort Lauderdale on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and I worked in the kids program there. I was in the recreation and taught water aerobics there, very similar to a Geo, except no overnights and no dancing and doing the shows at night. And then I also was a summer camp instructor, and I was a lifeguard and a swim instructor. So I had experienced and kind of actually, to be honest, I was pretty much following what the guidelines were for a Club Med Geo. I looked at what the requirements were. And so I was kind of trying to build up my resume so I then could become a Geo. I had that in the back of my mind that I wanted to do that, or in the front of my mind that I wanted to do that, because also one of my older sisters became a Geo as well. So she was a Geo before I was, and her name is Rebecca. And she worked in Turks and Caicos and in Eleuthera when that was still open. So we are a Club Med family.
I'll say, now you hit a nerve when you mentioned water aerobics. So now, as I did water aerobics, I hated it. Now, were you doing it for all ages or elderly?
Oh no, the Marriott, it was for all ages. It was very similar to the Club Med. Yeah, it was just.
Did you like water aerobics?
Sure, why not?
You did? Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. Right. You're dancing around in a pool. It's not brain surgery. So yeah.
Well, okay. Columbus Isle, they'll have you think differently. But anyway, I won't get into that. Okay. Now awesome. how long, okay, what year are we talking when you finally apply? So you finally make the jump. I say, I'm going to apply to Club Med. Like, did you have an interview at all? Or were you just like ushered in?
Well, so because of my sister being a Geo and she left on good terms, she left because she actually hurt her back a little bit. And so she came home to Chicago and was telling me all about it and told me about the crazy signs and how wonderful it was.
Wait. She told you about crazy signs and you still wanted to go? Just kidding.
Yes, okay, of course. She was doing them. Oh yeah, she was doing them in her house. Okay. And she was getting ready to go to the Maldives. She wanted to continue. Yes. And then she ended up getting engaged and she married a regular person.
Oh man.
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
So she didn't go back, but I knew I wanted to work for Club Med. And like I said, living in Florida. And I also worked for a tour company in Jamaica. So I had that travel bug ever since my mom was a travel agent. She kind of instilled in us the love of travel and experiencing new places and trying new things. And so one of those places that we went to, we were lucky enough to visit leaving Chicago was Jamaica. And I actually found a tour guide job there before I worked for Club Med as well. And then in addition to after I worked at Club Med, I went back to Jamaica for one more stint as a tour guide. So yeah, I've kind of been bouncing around, but that was all related somehow to the travel agent or to the travel industry, hospitality, recreation, tourism, all kind of that field.
So how did you actually get into Sandpiper? Did your sister call the chief there, or?
See, I'm so excited to talk. So I just going on and on. So no, I didn't call the chief. No, I applied, and Carmela McMurray was my recruiter. And so I talked with her and told her my sister was a Geo. I think she even remembered her or knew my sister. So I think I just had a phone interview and then got asked to go to Sandpiper, I think like 3 days later.
Oh, really? That fast?
I think so. They needed help. So I think I was there in, I want to say March. So I was at the end of a season. I think I got there in March.
March.
March. I don't know.
Did we ever figure out the year? Was it
2003? No. 2003. 2003 is the year for sure.
Okay.
But I don't remember the month. I would have to look back.
That's okay.
Figure it out.
Wait, so you're living in Florida now. Were you a little, maybe not disappointed? So you're living in Florida. They send you to Florida. Did you have dreams of the Caribbean, or were you just?
Oh my gosh,
you were happy just to go to?
Totally, you're 100% right. That's what's so funny is I was living in Fort Lauderdale, and they said, "Do you want to go to Port St. Lucie?" And I said, "I have to go 2 hours north of where I live."
Oh, is it 2 hours? Yeah, okay.
But I also didn't want to go north. I wanted to go south. I wanted to keep going in the Caribbean. And so I said, "All right, I'll go." And they said, "You'll only be there for a little bit, and then you'll go to another village. We'll send you somewhere else. Just try it." And so I said, "Okay." So immediately I got there and fell in love with it and didn't want to, not necessarily Sandpiper, but just the lifestyle and being there and how much fun it was. And so, yeah, I was hooked.
Well, since you grew up basically in Club Med, it was probably an easy transition for you, right? Like you got all your culture shock over with, like you said, with the naked and the topless people and the Speedos guys. So
Yeah,
it's all out of your system, right?
No, not
What?
necessarily.
No, there was
No.
something else that shocked you. Okay.
Oh, well, to be honest, Boone. That's what's so funny.
Wait,
Boone shocked me. To
Boone
be
did.
totally
Okay,
frank.
so is that where you met him?
Yes, my
Okay.
first day that I was there, I saw him and he had me cracking up performing in a show. And honestly, that was what hooked me. It was so funny, and he was such a goofball that
Okay,
they
so
were
it wasn't
performing.
one of these Hallmark movies where the people dislike each other at first and then they like, so you immediately thought he was funny and
I immediately, so my first day at Club Med, I basically got there. Sweet Jody Ortiz was my first person I met there. She met me and my HR Geo. And so she basically said, follow the people around, go to your mini club, go to lunch, and then follow them around, and then go to the show at night. And so my first night, I didn't know anyone. You're the kind of the outcast, you're the newbie. I'm still getting settled, and I went to the show. It was in the circus tent when they still had the sweet circus tent there. And I just remember sitting down next to different families, nobody that I knew, and watching Boone and Brian Davidson come out and Trevor Ray come out, and I was crying, laughing so hard. They were such goofballs and such fools, but they were so funny. I just remember looking around, crying, laughing, looking around at the people around me, thinking, are you guys laughing as hard as I am? Because this is hilarious. And Boone, he was doing some Siegfried and Roy skit, and Brian was dressed as a bear, and it was just so off the wall. It felt like it was an SNL skit that was live right in front of me, and I just loved it. I just loved the whole vibe, and I met him, I think later that night or the next day, or I don't remember, but just that was my first introduction into the goofball life of Boone and how fun Club Med was and how carefree it was. And
now
it
wait
was
a minute.
just,
So you're saying you met your future husband on day one? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, basically.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
cool. Jeez.
yeah. Now that I've never really thought about that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It
So,
was,
forget those, you probably go up there, I'm going to party, woohoo, I'm young. And then you meet your husband on day one, your future husband.
no,
Okay.
oh
No.
no, no, no.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. No,
Okay.
don't get me wrong. I still had fun. I still
Okay.
had fun. And yeah, no, I it wasn't like that at all. It was more like, oh my gosh, this guy's hilarious. I want to hang out with them. They're so funny. That's what it was. It was, these people are so fun. And there were so many wonderful people there too. I mean, I met so many different people, and I still think of them as family. Obviously, look at how we're talking 20 years later, but yeah, I still think of as everyone as family and friends. And it was such a cool connection to have so many people that you're in a similar personality as. It was just such a fun atmosphere, and I hope it still is. I think it still is.
Who was your chief there? Chief of village?
Hammer Keeley.
Of course. Yes.
Hammer Keeley, Mr. the Great Hammer, of course.
From Canada. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Now, so if you arrive in March, okay, so you just missed, luckily, the big Christmas and New Year's. Now, did you stay in Sandpiper? Like they said, you're only be here for a short time, but did you wind up staying like 9 months?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly. I ended
okay.
up staying. Yeah, I ended up staying exactly. I stayed through the summer, and it was so fun. I was lucky enough to be honored and awarded to go to the annual conference in France. So in the fall, we were lucky enough to be sent over to France for the week, or however many days the week it was. Yeah, it was super fun. We went with a great group of people, and we had such a silly fun time. Again, I just look at that whole year as being such a whirlwind of like laughing till your stomach hurts, laughing, crying, just being so like funny, mischievous, but funny, fun. It was just such a fun time. So yeah, so we were there. I was there in France, and then
Was this at a Club Med Opio or Vitel? Where did they send you?
it was at La Palmier de Atlantique.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So that was your
As I
first
packed
time
that.
in France?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
no, no. Oh, not in
No,
France.
no. Okay.
I was lucky enough, again, my mom, to be somehow found this awesome trip when I was younger, when I was a teenager. And so we went to Italy and France before I was a Geo.
How's your French?
Poor, very
Oh,
poor.
oh, come on. They're selling your bags now in Charlevoix. You got to step it
I
up now.
know.
Okay.
I know. You
Merci
want me to
beaucoup. Okay.
yes, I'll be totally honest with you. We actually just had a little French class this morning. My daughter is taking French, and she's taking Spanish and French online. And so my husband and I, Boone and I, took it with her. We take her little French class with her, and we are learning right alongside her.
Yeah, well, this is great at this age because they're sponges, right? So yeah,
Yes,
start learning as many languages as you can, teach them.
that's
Yes,
the hope.
very
Yes,
good
that's the
idea.
hope. Yeah, so hopefully she'll know more than I do. So that's what we're trying to get her, at least more knowledge than I have.
I believe in 2003, yeah, there was a day off. But did you still have any trouble working like 6 days out of 7, those long hours, or was it was nothing for you? It was easy.
No, it was fun. I don't look at it as like hard or easy. I look at it as it was fun. I wanted to get up every day and go and experience what the day was going to bring.
Okay.
Even if it was, the Club Med drama, which is so ridiculous. It's so minuscule in today's world. But no, I wanted to get up every day and be there.
All right. So you're one of those Geos that ran up to the choreographer and said, put me in every show, rather than like me who tried to hide from the choreographer. I'm guessing that was you, right?
Yeah,
you
I'm one of those.
Okay.
I wanted to be part of it all. Yes. Okay. I wanted to be on stage, and I wanted to not even just be on stage, but just I wanted to dance and have fun.
Even midnight rehearsal?
I was happy to do it. That's what's so crazy.
Oh, God.
I just look back and think what a high energy place it was, but it was so fun and lighthearted, and gosh, I almost wish everyone could experience it. The people that would enjoy it. I guess it's not for everyone, but yeah, it was such good memories.
Well, yeah, you got to be a bit of you got to be like an extrovert, right? So because you have to eat meals with the guests 3 times a day, so you have to be able to, you can't really hide if you're shy, right? In Club Med, you have to be. Maybe your first season you might be as you're getting used to it, but I think eventually everyone comes out of their shell. I think.
Yes, I think so, and maybe the people that don't enjoy it, it's not meant to be for everyone, and that's okay.
Yeah,
everyone's different.
It's for the majority, that's for sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have 80 mutual friends, so.
Yes, well, and that's again our crew of our personality, the same personality. I love that we're still in touch. That's what I think is so fun.
Did you have a favorite? Do you recall who the animator was? Did you have a favorite animation passage from your first season that he or she used to do?
No, I don't have a favorite, or I mean, not a favorite. I don't remember who the animator was, but I do. Again, I think of like Hammer and Boone and Trevor, and
I'm sure Boone sounds like the guy that would just go do his own thing, right? His own animation massage, right? Well,
and again, Hammer could just off the cuff could come up with things that were just so spontaneous and funny and fun. Johnny Bravo, he was another one that was just so funny, and I would cry laughing. Trying to think of who else.
Well, since Boone worked in water ski, did you already know how to water ski, or did you pretend that you didn't know how to water ski so he could teach you?
No, I did not know how to water ski. I had water skied one time or a couple times when I was, I think, in high school with some of my best friends, and that is it. Maybe when I was a little girl, a couple times with my parents or with my dad, but otherwise, no.
So he
jokes to this day that
yes.
I looked short enough. I was short enough to where he could put me on his shoulders and I wouldn't necessarily hurt his back, is what he says. And he'd probably say the exact same sentence.
You mean water ski, like in the water ski show?
In the water ski show, because I could do the brouette.
Oh, okay.
I could climb on his shoulders, and I wasn't nervous to climb, or I wasn't nervous to be out there, but I didn't have to know how to water ski that well.
Well, that's true. Yeah. The brouette. Yeah. You're basically, because you start and then kind of like the straddle position in the water, right? So he's the one holding on to the rope, not you. You're just holding on to him and then climbing. Yeah. I like doing the brouette. It was fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. So that's how it started. Is he basically told a different Geo to have her come down to the water ski dock and we'll practice. And I said, okay, I have to go. I think I was like, oh, am I really going to do this? Okay. Yeah, I'm going. Let's do it. And so, I was in the water ski shows and performed with him. I did the circus shows, totally no experience doing circus. Like I said, when I was 5, I was nervous to even partake in a little show in Guadalupe. And so it's all
considering the intimacy of because I've done the brouette with, a girlfriend at the time and not a girlfriend. So it's a pretty intimate position. So is this where the attraction started then? Was it the brouette?
Not necessarily.
It's kind of awkward when you don't know the person and,
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that's where it started. I think it started because I just thought he was so funny and such a goof. That's
well, wait,
really
we haven't touched on his looks. So I'm guessing because he's, devilishly handsome, I'm sure that had something to do with it, right?
He's okay. Come
on. He's more than okay. And I'm straight. Okay. No, he's very good looking guy.
he's a cute guy, but it really was that awesome personality.
Yeah, the sense of humor. Sure. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I know. But
yes. And he was nice, and he was funny, and and he still is. I don't mean to say was, he still is. And yeah. And then of course, being not hard on the eyes or, easy to look at.
Yeah. He's hot. You can say it.
Didn't hurt anything. Yes. Yes. Didn't hurt anything. But no, it was fun. And that's how I still think of it. Our relationship today, our life today is that we still have fun.
In your 9 months there, did anything funny happen? Do you have any stories? Like, I don't know.
The quickest thing that I can think of, like literally that just jumps out of my head, is it was sometime in the winter, because it must have been cold out, and probably was even during the holiday season, because the theater, we were in the theater and it was packed, and it was during a show. I don't know if you remember the tennis cabaret. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I used to do that. Yeah.
Yes. So Boone and I were the married couple, ironically, which is so crazy.
Oh man. Okay.
Yes, we were the married couple.
Okay.
And it was so hilarious. What'd you say?
This is like destiny here. Okay, go on.
It was
okay.
just so silly. Yes, we were the married couple, and we were pretending like we were, in love with each other and didn't want to be apart from each other. And we were doing a tennis lesson together, and I wasn't supposed to hit the ball. Hammer was our instructor, and I wasn't supposed to hit the ball. And out of my, natural instinct, I hit the ball, and I messed up the whole joke. This is one of my, easiest, quickest memories that I can think of, where it's shockingly embarrassing, because the theater was packed. We had set up the theater like the tennis courts. I hit the ball so hard, just out of, my natural swing. And I'm not even that great at tennis. I don't even really know how to play tennis. Let's just put it like that. And Hammer and Boone looked at me so shocked because I messed up the joke. And I forget what they said. Of course, they recovered and they made something, funny out of it, and made everyone laugh, made the whole room laugh. But I just remember that it was such a, moment in my memory of, oh, wow, I just messed up in front of hundreds of people. I messed up the joke. Yeah. So
by hitting the ball. Okay.
By hitting the ball. I was supposed to miss it in the tennis lesson, in this scenario. I was supposed to miss the ball, and I hit the ball, as hard as I probably could. It was just a reaction.
Okay.
Yeah. Just typical Geo show, little mistake.
Yeah, it happens. Come on.
Yeah, live.
We've all screwed up live. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Another memory that I have, now I'm getting way off course, but another memory I have is when we were in France, we performed hip hop dance, and I loved performing it, and it was so fun. But I remember being embarrassed because the other acts that were on stage for this big annual conference of all the people from around the world, and all the top executives and all the best talent, it was like a showcase show that we did, and we danced hip hop, and we had so much fun, and we did great. I still think we did great, but I remember being embarrassed because other people were using fireworks, and they were true, I think, Cirque du Soleil acrobats, and they were doing all these shows, and we did our little hip hop. And I remember being embarrassed in France in front of everyone. And that was even more impactful.
Well, wait, well, let's determine how embarrassing this was. What was the song you came out to?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I could probably send a quick message to a couple people, and I'm sure they would remember. But
no, that's okay.
Yes. Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well, yeah, but how could you know, right? I mean, who knew that all these other villages were going to bust out, like Cirque du Soleil, were these, numbers, right? I mean,
well, we did have a rehearsal, and I remember thinking, oh, wow, they're really good. These other acts are really, really good.
I think everyone should have sprained their ankle that day or something. Get out of it.
I know, of course not. No, they did.
Your whole team sprained their ankle, Hammer? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes. No, we did our hip hop, and it was so good, and it was cute. The Americans, doing their hip hop, and it was fun and funny. But I just remember being embarrassed, thinking, wow, we are not Cirque du Soleil level at all.
All right, present day question. Do you have the same recurring dream that you are back working at Clubmate? Does this ever happen to you? Yes or no? It's okay if it doesn't, but it happens to a lot of people. I was just curious if you get these dreams.
Not really. Because I think I'm still somewhat connected to it, so I'm not really.
Yes. Well, speaking a bit, like, you work as a recruiter, right? So are we allowed to, can we talk about that or no?
Yes. I was a recruiter after I left Club Med. for that year, I went back and worked.
Now, wait, now before you talk about that, now, so at the end of your 9 months, did you make the choice? Like you didn't want to continue? Like,
Yes.
Normally you would have asked for a second season. So what happened? Like you just wanted
to. Yeah. So to be honest, Boone was leaving and he wanted to go home to spend time with his family and was, trying different things. And I thought, you know what, I have an opportunity to go back to Jamaica and work for this tour company that I worked for twice before. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to Jamaica and do this at least one more time. It was for a spring break tour company. So it was, again, super fun. It was, in the Caribbean, in Montego Bay and Negril. And so it's hard to say no to that as well. So I went back and did that. That's when I was dating Boone. And when we got back to Miami or got back to Fort Lauderdale is when I was a recruiter. Yep. In the Miami office.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. So you worked the corporate side and then the village side, resort side.
Yes. I worked again with Hammer, sweet Hammer. He was my boss at the corporate office in HR and he hired me to do recruiting there with him. And so I helped and I made phone calls interviewing, potential future Geos. And that was so fun to talk about and brag about Club Med, like basically we're doing right now. and talk people into working there, but it wasn't hard. It was.
Well, you were able to determine, because even if you weren't a recruiter, you could probably you could always tell when like a new Geo arrived if they were going to make it or not. So was it the same thing when you were a recruiter? Like, could you just tell who was right for the job and who wasn't?
Kind of. You definitely had a lot of the people that had a family member or had some kind of connection or had been to Club Meds. And so, those people knew already what it was about. So those were kind of the, shoo-ins in a way, or those were the kind of people that you looked for. I remember vividly calling a lot of ex-Geos to fill in positions as well. And, Hammer and I would go through our brain really quick of who is available to work or who could go do
who comes from a cold climate. Oh yeah, let's get that guy from Montreal or Chicago.
Yes, exactly. Who wants to go work in the Bahamas for
in February?
Yes, exactly. So that was fun. And so I did that with him for about another year. And then now I've been doing my own gig.
Okay, one last thing before we talk about that. I'm guessing you liked Crazy Signs. If you did, did you have a top 3?
A top 3
or number 1?
No, the one I can think of that I love is it the Schumacher? Good question.
Yes. Oh God,
I was not prepared for this one at all. Yeah, is it the Schumacher?
Hey,
I love
it was on
that.
the list of questions I sent you.
Okay. Oh, I didn't look.
You didn't do your homework. Okay.
I didn't do my homework. No, yes, it was the Schumacher. I love that song.
Okay.
Well, and then the good old Hands Up. I like the original version of Hands Up. I've actually put that on a couple of my reels on social media. I love that reel version because I remember doing that when I was younger, visiting the Club Meds. So as a GM, the original good old Hands Up.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, do you have time to talk to me about Oaken Park, your company? What is it? How did you get the name? Take me back. When did it all start?
Oh my gosh, I would love to tell you all about that. Thank you so much for asking. Oaken Park are the corners of the streets that we grew up on in a suburb of Chicago. So my sisters and I came up with this name and we created this company where we were designing handbags 20 years ago. Exactly. This time 20 years ago, we came up with Oaken Park. We loved that house growing up. And so that's where the name came from. We had such a good time and fun memories there with 3 sisters, with 4 girls in this house, and then our parents and a slew of animals, dogs, cats, birds, fish. That house was crazy. And so we wanted to come up with some kind of family name like that. So Oaken Park was created and we have kept that name for 20 years, even though we haven't been full-time with it over the 20 years. We have used it for different companies. So we started with handbags and I went and worked at Club Med. I went and worked in Jamaica. Then one of my sisters used it for a clothing boutique in Fort Lauderdale with the same name, Oaken Park. And so we had that for a couple of years, or she had that for a couple of years. She closed that once she had a couple of kids. And so now I am back to using it for more bags and have evolved the bags into my useful arm bags and now hip bags and more to come in the future.
And And you are currently being sold at the new Club Med Village. So that's got to be pretty exciting, right? So it's the first Club Med Village in Canada, which we're all excited about. And you,
Yes.
so is that something you can talk about or no? Like, is that
Yes,
you
for
approached them?
sure.
They approached
For
you?
sure. So I was selling at Club Med Sandpiper. I've also sold to Club Med to Turquoise and Sandpiper. I was just recently there restocking them. I was happy to go and visit and do a sales trip and go and restock their boutique. So we did a bunch of arm bags on a bunch of Geos for the fashion show just recently, a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, so the same owner, now the boutiques are outsourced by different people.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. So the boutiques are outsourced by different people all over the world now. It's not centralized through corporate. So it's different owners. And yes, so it's really interesting. And to be honest, a little tricky to get in touch with everyone.
Yeah.
So yes, from, personally speaking. So Club Med Sandpiper Boutique, the same family or the same people own or are now leasing the Charlevoix location, the boutique there as well.
Okay. Oh,
yes.
wow.
So I was lucky enough and asked politely if I could also have the bags represented in Canada. And I've had, thankfully, thank you to all of my awesome customers. We have had a lot of requests for, Canadian arm bags, or can they be sold somewhere? Can somebody have a bunch that we can buy from them because the shipping is so expensive? So now this works out. Now they're there as of a couple of days ago.
Okay. That's so cool. Yeah, they just recently opened. So
yes.
Hopefully we'll get some more snow here. We haven't had a lot of snow yet, but that's so awesome.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I was also reading that on your website, you guys support many animal rescue groups, correct?
Thank you for saying that. That's so nice. Yes, or for asking. We're huge animal rescue advocates. Our family loves to support animal rescues, and in addition to other women charities and entrepreneurship charities. And even I have a rare disease. And so we support this rare disease, some of the research and things that are being done. I'll just tell you, it's called dermatomyositis. So it's a rare immune disease. And so we try to give back to what we can, if it's an animal rescue, if it's for different health reasons. My mother is a breast cancer survivor, so we've supported different breast cancer charities, and so we try to give back as much as we can and share the love.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, your website's very nice. I've been looking at it for a couple of days now.
Thank you. It needs some more updating in regards to some more colors and some more styles, and we have more in the works, and so it will be constantly evolving. Let's put it that way.
Are you the model is that you that I'm seeing on the website? Are you the
on
model?
The front?
Yes. With the pink bandana?
The pink bandana.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a photo of a lady in a white shirt and wearing a pink hairband, I guess you could call it, with a print color arm bag. Underneath, there's a woman in a bathing suit, the video. So I was just curious if that was you or your sister.
I have to go on and look, to be honest.
Okay.
I have to go on and look, but yes, it's basically all of my family.
Okay.
my models are my family are cheap models.
Okay. Well, that's true, right? Okay.
Yes. So, yes, I tend to use a lot of family pictures, but I'm literally typing as we're looking.
I know we could hear you. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Well, but at least we can end the mystery if that's you or your sister. Okay.
Yes, that's me with the pink headband. Yes.
Okay, it is you. Okay. Cool.
Yes,
so if you
I had to literally look at what picture it was.
Yeah, www.hokenpark.com, you could see who we're talking about. Okay, that is Suzie. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm new to podcasts. I'll put it out.
Right. That's right.
Brand new to podcasts. So,
no problem at all. Okay. Wow. Now I don't want to let you go if I'm forgetting to ask anything about your Clubmate experience or anything. So if I have, please tell me now if there's something you wanted to say. I don't want to let you go in case, I forgot something. So
no, you're so sweet. I honestly, this has been so fun. I can't think of anything else that I want to say. Just that.
Well, as a recruiter, so if there is someone listening to this podcast and is on the fence about applying, what would you say?
Oh, go and apply. Absolutely. Go and apply at any age, anytime. Go and apply. Just go do it. It's so fun. And you never know who you're going to meet. You can make your best friends. You can meet lifelong friends. I mean, I could name a slew of names that are just, I still think of them and I could count on them. I could text them right this second and they would respond right this second. And yeah, it's such a cool community of people. So I recommend everyone. And if you go visit a Club Med, go and get involved. Don't just necessarily think this is the place that's going to be where you go and relax. It's somewhere that, you can, but go and try to meet the people and go and try to ask questions and learn about other people and learn about other cultures. And yeah, that was the fun part of it, was just expanding your horizons, opening your eyes to other people and other worlds and other sports, other languages, other cultures, other foods. Gosh, the chocolate bread.
Yeah. Yes. The famous white chocolate bread. Okay.
Yes. And I'm a person, I actually like the dark chocolate bread. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay.
I know. I could get backlash. Yeah. It's just such a fun atmosphere and lifestyle. And I have a smile. I think I've had a smile at this whole conversation. It's just such a fun place to talk about. And yeah, we've met cool people that we are still in touch with. And I want to still be a part of it. If it's one way or another, if I'm selling, products back to the resort, that's how I want to keep in touch with it. So,
well, yeah. Hey, yeah, if you're going to have to go up to Turks to restock, you got to go, right? That's your job, right? So,
exactly.
Sorry, Boone, I'm leaving for a week for Turks. Okay.
Yes.
Got to restock. Yes. Didn't you just restock? No.
So there may be some ulterior motives with what I'm doing. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Why do you always restock in the winter months? Okay.
Yes. Well, so that, yeah, I think of it as, such a fun, cherished part of my life. And growing up, going to the couple growing up and having that wonderful experience. My sister then having that experience, meeting my husband there. My husband, actually his brother then met his wife as Geos as well. They became Geos after we were there. So we're a big Club Med family. And we, like I said, we were just at Sandpiper for work and for play. And we hope to go back again someday soon.
And just FYI for anyone listening, your husband Boone has agreed to come on as well, right? And then he'll tell us his story, correct?
Yes. I don't think that'd be a problem. I think
we'll see if your stories of how you met match up. Okay. I'm sure it was I'm going to ask him. I'm sure it was the Bruette. Okay. Cause I've been in that position before. So yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. Okay.
Oh, well, yes.
God bless the Bruette, everyone. Okay.
And I'm blushing again. So yes, I definitely think it would be twisting his rubber arm. Let's put it that way to get him to come talk.
All right. Good.
He's a professional talker. And so, yes, it wouldn't be a problem, I don't think.
Excellent.
Yes. So thank you so much. And
thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yes, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you letting me chit chat about my business. And yeah, I look forward to having another reunion someday, and we'll catch up then and catch up face to face then.
Yes. Actually, Suzie, if you wouldn't mind, would you permit me just one last question before I let you go? Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. In addition to, I know you mentioned Hammer and Boone and Johnny Bravo, but if you have a second to mention, were there other Geos that stood out to you? Your first season that were memorable? And
yes, who? There are. Thank you for asking. The people that come to mind are probably Jenny Lopez and my friend Nikki and Stacy and of course Jody and of course Hammer and Johnny and Boone and Red, and the list could go on and on. Little James. Who else? I mean, Trevor.
Sounds like you had a good team there.
Yes, I could keep listing and listing. So yes, so much fun. So thank you for asking. And then I just want to say, if that's okay, I want to just say thank you to my parents.
Sure.
My parents we wouldn't have done Club Med basically without them. And for them arranging it and organizing it and us being able to travel, and they taught us different languages and cultures and expose us to all of that different lifestyle. And so I wanted to just say thank you to Pat and Mike for teaching us to be open-minded. So thank you so much.
And Pat and Mike are?
Pat and are my parents.
Oh, okay. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming that is Mike the one that paid for all these vacations? Is he the one with the deep
Yes.
pockets? Okay.
Yes. Well, and with the addition of deals from my mom finding the travel
Okay.
agent, deals. But yes, Mike paid for it all, and so I have to say thank you for that. And my sisters Jennifer, Rebecca, and Amy, and I wouldn't be where we are and wouldn't have the appreciation of traveling without them. So thank you for allowing me to add that.
No problem. And thank you,
Yeah.
Pat and Mike, for creating such a wonderful guest today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this has been so fun. And thank you, Greg, for having me.
No, thanks for sharing your story. I really do appreciate it, Susan. Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure. And we'll try to get Boone on next and see.
We will. I'm coming for you, Boone. Your next, Boone. Yeah. Get ready.
Yes. So thank you again so much. This has been so fun. I look forward to hearing others as well.
All right, everyone. That was Susan from Sandpiper, and we'll see you all next week. Bye. Say bye, Sue.
Bye. Thank you.